Good morning, everybody, and again, afternoon, if wherever you are, it's afternoon. Welcome to our weekly peer review. Today we're going to talk about a subject familiar to all of us and probably important to all of us, and that is relationships and how EMDR can be involved in healing and helping of relationships. But before we do that, I'd like to talk a little bit about the nature of relationship from the perspective of what we call attachment. Bowlby. Bowlby's ideas. Bowlby really pioneered, John Bowlby, the idea of attachment theory, and you'll see the slide there. And he looked at attachment in several dimensions. The first one was the safe haven and the secure base. We call that secure attachment. And then, of course, proximity maintenance of the relationship and separation distress. We've taken that a little bit farther now, and we're looking at attachment in different dimensions. Parental attitude of attachment style and its impact on the child or the other member of the family. If the parents were secure and autonomous with each other, they would produce a secure attachment style in the child. If the parents were dismissing, they would produce an insecure, avoidant style of attachment in the child. If they're preoccupied, positively or negatively, doing their PhDs, too much work, or on drugs, they're going to have an insecure, ambivalent child who's can't make decisions. If they're organized, they'll have organized, disorganized, a disorganized style of attachment. Attachment is not love. Attachment represents an unconditional response of the organism to the maintenance and well-being of the organism, and it's spontaneous and reciprocal. Today we're really looking at attachment neurologically. We're taking a look at the way and how the successful development of attachment programs itself into a successful organism's ability to regulate itself, calm itself down, manage itself, manage and regulate its nervous system. There's some amazing research. Peter Fonagy, his studies of infant and mother dyads and how the mother's connection through the eye, smile, the prosody, the expressiveness of voice, softness of voice, and so on, communicates to a part of the brain that's being developed in the child, and that may even continue up until around age 12. This part of the brain controls what Ruth Lemius has described as the brain's default mode network. What does that mean? It means the ability to idle. If we let off the gas, the brain will idle, calm down. That ability to internally regulate, that if we simply stop for a moment and pause, we will automatically idle. That's being trained and programmed by successful and secure attachment. If that's not there, the brain can't idle when you let off the gas. And anyone who's driven, metaphorically, a stick shift knows that if you can't idle, you also can't shift, up or down. You cannot change states on your own. You cannot change internal states on your own. Therefore, one, you can't idle, can't downregulate, can't calm down. And if you're in a specific state, you can't change it on your own. If you're depressed, you can't change that. You're stuck on depressed. If you're angry, you're stuck on angry. If you're, happy and giddy, you're stuck on giddy. And you're dependent upon the external environment to change and regulate your states. Therefore, you naturally become highly manipulative in order to get the environment to change your states, because you can't do that internally. It also makes you potentially very vulnerable to dependency on substances, alcohol, drugs, and so on, to regulate your internal state, because you have not been able to learn how to do that from the programming, successful programming that occurs in the attachment developmental process. So what does that create? Wow. It creates an individual who, in relationship, is dependent on that relationship to manage their internal state. And what do we talk? What do we see when folks come in for therapy? Jealousy, rage, insecurity, finger pointing. You made me upset. You didn't take care of me. You didn't do this right, and therefore I am experiencing such and thus. The locus of control, the perception of the individual's locus of control is on the other parties. It's not inside. It's not inside. The good news, of course, is that there's something we can do about it. First off, I mean, in couples work, and in family work, but couples work in particular, we're considering the idea that, of course, most of the issues are family of origin issues. In other words, they come from the programming and the training of the family. So that many trigger issues that occur in a couple are their causes in the past. So that if there's a specific type of trigger, we can follow that back through EMDR and process the disturbing memory from the past, which takes the pressure off the current situation. And then the current situation can be resourced through skills, communication skill sets, and so on, to be able to problem solve. Where attachment is a core issue, regulation is a problem. So we're going to go back to what we call attachment repair. And we have many types of therapeutic methods that we can use to help repair attachment. We can use ego state therapy to identify fragmented younger aspects of the memory system, which we metaphorically call emotional parts. And these we can resource and take care of, develop, repair through both EMDR and specific types of ego state therapy intervention to actually help repair the experience of younger aspects of the psychological self developmentally and actually repair what was damaged. And of course, there's, in terms of regulatory training, we know we've got the integration of EMDR and mindfulness, staying present, ego state work, families, couple work, somatic therapy, yoga and self-regulation training, DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. There's a wide range of therapeutic modalities that can help both do repair and train the brain's default mode network to be able to idle down and to change states, to learn how to change states on our own individually from the internal locus of the individual, so that the relationship does not become the carrier for that, along with the everyday action systems of the love, work, and play, including exploration. The individuals are able to regulate their internal states, change states as needed to adapt to the changing needs of the family system. Again, back to attachment. It's about an internal programming that allows the individual to regulate and to stay present, to be able to stay present, to down-regulate, calm down, and be here, present right now. Not preoccupied by triggers from the past, and not coping with that by trying to go to the future to regulate everything so that the stresses of the past don't happen again. Future-oriented, past-oriented, we're able to be present, down-regulate, change our state, and be here right now in the present. So we're going to be talking in the future more specifically about how EMDR and some of these other therapies are used in the actual therapeutic process. But again, I want to encourage you to learn a little more about attachment, about what healthy attachment looks like, and also about how we can repair damaged attachment through developing regulated relationships. I will spend a little bit of time finishing up here today on the importance of eye contact, affect, smile, in communication and attachment repair. When we look at an individual and we smile, according to Stephen Porges, we are communicating the internal state of our organ and nervous system. Our polyvagal theory is what we're talking about. Our polyvagal internal regulatory system is being communicated through the face and the eyes and the smile and the prosody of our voice. As we change the prosody of our voice, we're communicating that we're calmer and that we're ultimately safe to attach to. Conversely, if we're dysregulated and sharp and so on, we're communicating that we're not, our well-being inside is not necessarily regulated, and we might not be a safe individual to attach to get close to. So learning how to use our voice and our face and our communications and being aware of that, again, is part of how we do that repair. In EMDR, of course, there's a whole series of the dance we've talked about before, the dance of EMDR that can help hold, repair, and reprogram the attachment system through processing disturbing memories and early experiences so that that regulation system comes back online. And the individual can learn how to regulate themselves in relationships. So again, thanks for attending our weekly peer review, and we'll look forward to our continuing discussions.